Hey, it's me, John Ward. I am back with another One Filmmaker, One Film. And my guest today is
Christian Maurice Gantt, co-owner of Buckaroo Brothers Productions with Saison Bright. And we are talking about Warlock Moon.
Yes, we are. And when did Warlock Moon come out? What year?
Well, it came out in 2000, but I had started writing it in 1997. I in Daly City. I used to walk down to the Armenian chicken restaurant down there, and I was originally going to write 3 silent short films on 16 millimeter camera, so it was going to be silent originally. So that's where it originally started at. I had wrote it from both San Francisco, Daly City, Coma City, where all the graveyards are, and here in Sacramento, Roseville, at a diner down the street. So I was all happy, cheap, cheap horror film, silent, I got the idea because of a friend of mine did a silent comedy on a 16 millimeter camera. I was going to say, oh, great. Much less than I know that it would have a different turn in the next year or two. Saison and me were just starting the company, and we got together with a friend of his, Wayne Eric, who he said to me, I have a friend that can probably give you the money, or us the money, and get this film done. Well, he took one look at the script and said, I can't do this like this. I said, you're going to have to rewrite it. And I'll give you the money through my boss, which was Bond Driving School, because he wanted to invest in the movie. And he says, I could probably give you $10,000 to $8,000 off the short film. And we all got together, the 3 of us, and started rewriting it. It must have took like 2 to 3 months to rewrite it the way we wanted to do it. We all pitched in, myself, Wayne, and Saison, and said we were excited, to the point where it was the script we want. And he said, how are you going to do how are you going to shoot it? I said, I'm going to do it on 16 millimeter. And his face just went white. He says, I'll give you the camera. So we found a director for his boss gave him the money. We found a director of photography named Andy Masagli, and it was his camera. It was XL. It wasn't an XL2. It was an XL1. I shot XL2 on. I shot Grid and Grin, the new film, on XL2. So it was an XL1, and on digital film, and we shot it in about. Well, first of all, we casted it through his ETM casting, so everything was through him, and me and Saison. He had inherited. Well, it wasn't really. It was his company, but he had a mentor back in Hollywood that had a casting company. So he was Akima. And we all got together and casted the film. We had our flaws. We had casted the first part, and she decided not to do it because I guess it wasn't in her cup of tea, So we casted it again with another girl, and we set up a date after we casted the chunk of this film, we had shot it in 6 to 8 days out in Shingle Springs and Tahoe over there. Not over by. It was kind of near Grizzly Flats, but it wasn't really at Grizzly Flats. If you go further, it'll be Grizzly Flats. But It was at a house. The graveyard was like, we actually built our own graveyard. And I still get compliments about that till this day, you know, how real it looks. Because that's all cardboard. Yeah.
So hold on for 1 second. Let's go back just a little bit. So, because I would like to get details on a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. So you came up with this idea that was originally a different film, right? Than the film that is available.
3 different films, actually. Yeah.
3 different films. You were going to shoot them on 16 millimeter, which we are both old enough to know what shooting on 16 millimeter is like compared to these young people today who just shoot on digital and on like a little chip. You know, we were actually shooting on film. So it was originally the 3 ideas, and that you said they were going to be silent. And this one, the producer that you were talking to, he wanted to do a rewrite. Is that what you're saying?
He wanted to give me the money only if we did the rewrite with him and Saison. So we all 3 of us decided to do the rewrite together, you know. And he was excited to the point where he was putting his ideas in, and I was putting my ideas in, and Saison was putting his ideas in as well, you know. Saison and him both were actors together in Hollywood. They did a lot of extra parts in Hollywood, so they knew the business to the point where they kind of knew the rounds of what casting and film was all about, and knowing and to work with SAG too, you know, and the whole roles that come with that, you know. And I owe them an awful lot because they helped me make this film, you know, when nobody else kind of believed in it, you know. You know.
So when the third person came on, when Wayne came on, was it taking those 3 ideas and kind of making them into one film and then throwing in extra ideas, or were the 3 ideas kind of thrown out and like a brand new idea was formed?
It was all the 3 films together.
Okay. And
we formed it in one script with newer stuff and dialogue and actually got names to the people too, I think too, you know.
So why this film in particular? Because now you have a money guy. Now you have Wayne. You got some money that you could throw in. Why this particular film and not something else?
Well, I decided to do. Well, I've always liked 50s films, and it was a good first film for me, you know. And I got the idea mainly for 50 films, but also George Romero films too. I love the zombie films, you know, and I just wanted to make something that would be, you know, the start of something, you know, that would be better, you know. It wasn't, you know, I didn't at first. Also, it's probably the only script I really had finished at the time.
No, well, okay, well, that's a reason.
Yeah, so I decided to do it, you know. The other film I had written was a vampire film, but it took a lot more money than what I had, you know, than what he was perceiving. So I wanted to do something cheap, to the point where people will dig it, you know. It really didn't start getting the parody part of it until we actually started filming it, you know. And that's where the director of photography, Andy, kind of helped me out with, you know. He kind of said, well, why don't we do this in here, you know? Because, you know, if you look at it, zombie films have been done to death, you know. So give it a little parody, you know, be like guy going down the street saying, the zombie going down the street going, you know, oh, it's right down the street, you know, it's on cemeteries down the street, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
like, I remember. Well, that's one of the things I was going to ask you about was the, you know, was the humor in it. So it's Now, when you have somebody like Wayne come on board, now I looked on IMDb and it said estimated budget is 11,000. Would somewhere around there be correct?
Around that, yeah. We spent a little bit less, but it was about that, you know.
And was he the only person?
10,000.
Around 10,000. And so was he the main person who did the funding?
It was really his boss that put down the money.
Okay.
It was the owner of Bond Driving School. Bond, so we had to put Bond Driving School in the film somewhere.
The car, yeah, it's on the side of a car. Yeah, when it pulls into a house and the girl runs out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was put in because they helped us with the film, you know, and that he was a part of it, you know. And I guess he's kind of a silent producer himself, you know, in a way, you know. But we pretty much learned our teeth on this film, you know, in a weird, strange way. And I've kind of learned how to be a better filmmaker with other films too, you know, just by this one film, you know. It did play for 10 years on Public.
Oh, wow.
Channel here. Each on Halloween, each Halloween for a good 10 years.
Oh, nice.
So I had a following of it. Yeah. And people kept coming up to my actor and friend, Troy, and saying, "You're that zombie dude," you know. Oh,
that's funny.
Things like that, you know. Yeah. But he enjoyed the fact that he was pretty much a good star in the film himself, you know. But other than that, the film itself was a learning experience.
Well,
for
okay.
all of us.
So let's okay. So that's a good segue. So when you mentioned Wayne, you said that he didn't want to shoot on 16 millimeter, that he wanted to shoot on digital, and that you shot on the XL1 digital camera.
What? Yeah, it was a one
on the one, and those are the mini tapes, right? Those itty bitty little those. Let's see if I can get my hand in here. Right, those itty bitty little cassettes that go into. Exactly. It's not a chip like people are used to today or a card. These are actual cassettes. Yes. So that once again tells you how old we are, that we know what these things are too, because I have plenty of those in my closet. So did you have any issue with that? Like, were you kind of set on shooting on 16, but you kind of had to convince yourself that mini DV is actually a good way to go?
I was set on shooting 16, but I was convinced in the long run to shoot on digital tape, because of it will go faster. One, two, we can get things done really fast and quick, and not so much wasting our time on just film, especially silent film in that matter.
Right. Yeah. Because you gotta, there's a lot of work that goes into shooting with film and the sound and all that stuff. So yeah, it does take its time. So now that you got, go on.
Yeah. Actually, digital tape kind of looks like old 16 millimeter prints if you do it correctly,
Oh, okay.
So if you want to do like a low budget, looking like a weird 60s, 70s film, I would recommend to do it on a digital tape, even though that they don't do it anymore. They're kind of obsolete now, I think,
Oh, they're very obsolete. Yeah. Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, but
So
I
you
have mine, but I
have mine too. Yeah, I got mine in my closet. Yeah. Actually, I think I got two of them. So
yeah, I still have mine, but it needs to be fixed though. But
you got it.
Mine,
so
yeah.
Where
Yeah.
was the film shot? Because you said that you're in Sacramento. So where was this shot? Because there's some nice looking locations.
It was shot in, yeah, it was shot in my house in Roseville. It was shot at another person's front yard, graveyard was, and in Shingle Springs. And the cabin and all the other stuff was shot in Tahoe over there in the mountains over there. They kind of, so we had 3 locations. We shot maybe a day in my house. And I think we shot the rest of the time in Shingle Springs and in Tahoe over there. So the cabin was Saison Bright's girlfriend's father's cabin, and he let us use it.
Nice.
To the point where we got the sets pretty much free, if you look at it,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I think it was done very cheaply to what we had, and we definitely could have expanded on it if we wanted to. We kind of did want to make it longer. The reason why we didn't is that we just didn't have the time or the money.
Well, both those things help. Yeah.
Money,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm planning to expand it even more in other scripts and stuff like that. So, but that's down the
Oh yeah,
road,
we'll definitely talk about that near the end here. So, you got you got your script, you combined everything together. You now have Warlock Moon. You got Wayne on, who's got the money. You got what you're going to be shooting it on, which is the mini DV. Right. So how did casting work on it? Because this has a large cast if you include all the zombies and the kids, and I mean, how did that all work?
Well, we had Wayne do all the casting with Saison and myself, ETM casting. And what he would do is he would bring actors in and do scenes with them, and have me watch them do scenes. I remember a lot of these actors were new, and a lot of these actors didn't really know the business as much as they could. Some of them, even were kind of raw in a way, the old woman, she was kind of a last minute replacement. We had cast an older woman and she didn't want to do it for some reason. So we had cast this woman, and she did as best she could. So the casting really happened through teamwork, really, between me, Wayne, and Saison, and just getting the people in. Wayne would have pictures of just people from LA, different places, that just wanted to audition for us. So you'd have like a stack full of photos when it was just a stack full of photos and resumes,
right. Yeah.
So yeah, he pretty much helped us cast it to the point, me and Saison, we do everything together. We're all brothers, but we adopted each other as brothers many years ago, as people, and families, go wise, and we did it. We all did everything together with casting and getting the things done, and having it all done, even Wayne, I felt that if I had more time, I would have spent more time on casting, but we had a schedule that we had to keep. So,
well, some of your zombies are interesting. Like you have a as you pointed out earlier, some humor. So you kind of have the comedy zombie. You have a large guy, a really large guy as one of the zombies.
That's Troy. That's Troy Skillman. Yeah.
So were those people intentional? Like you said, oh, we want that guy because he's like a big guy, or did you just kind of?
Actually, all that was Andy pretty much helped me with that. He pretty much originally Troy was supposed to be just security, and he decided. Andy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, why don't we put him in the movie as a zombie?" You know, so Andy pretty much helped me make it a comedy, you know, and put things in. You know, he would recommend to put things in. You know, he's been in the business too as much as everywhere else, but I think I don't think he has done anything for a while though. But he does know a lot about the business, and he helped me get the comedy aspect out as much as everything else, you know. And a lot of that has to do with Troy too. I think Troy kind of enjoyed being funny, you know, in the role, you know.
Right.
Troy has been an old friend of mine for a long time too. So I've known him since '93. So I've known him for a good 10 years before that, but he helped me with a lot of things in the production as well, you know, with scripts and stuff like that. So, and we just now he calls himself one of my actors.
There you go. Well, that's good to have your ensemble, you know, cast there. So it's you know that you always have. So with that, so what was your pre-production time like? So because this sounds like obviously the film has a little bit of a history to it, especially at the beginning. So yeah, so what was pre-production like?
We spent about 3 to 4 to 5 months on pre-production. We spent about that because we were going to shoot in the summertime. So we started in maybe March or April, and we ended pre-production around June, you know, and we'll just say, you know, around that time, you know, but it's been a while since, you know, I got to think about the months myself, you know. You still with me?
Yes.
Okay. Thought you froze there for a minute.
Oh no, I'm just listening.
Oh yeah, but we pre-production was pretty much with the casting and with getting the things together. We were originally going to shoot it in Sacramento graveyard, but they didn't like the fact that we were going to shoot a zombie film in the graveyard.
Okay. The greatest zombie film ever made was shot in a graveyard. So that Night of Living Dead. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but they didn't like the fact that there was zombies running around, and all the people were like going to say, going to visit their relatives and see zombies and freak them out, freak the old ladies out or something, you know.
Well, you had commented, and this kind of goes into pre-production, that you created the cemetery.
Yeah, we created the cemetery. We went over to the director of photography's place. He had his own little building there, and we made it through styrofoam and cardboard.
Traditional.
Real, yeah,
it looked good. Yeah, so, that's it's in my notes of what it says right here: cemetery, real or fake. So
yeah, it was fake, but it looked real. Everybody that
it looks good. Yeah,
has watched the film says it looks real, and it's because we added a little secret. We added dirt to the texture of it to add to the flavor of it to make it look old, and it was to the point where it worked, you know. And I think if I have that problem again, I might just do it a different way, but you know what? I might do it the same way too, you know. Cheap,
Hey, if it,
you know,
yeah, if it
for cheap
works,
purposes, you know, if
so.
I'm making a cheap. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think a lot of it was done on the wind too when we were shooting, because it was our first film, you know, and that's how you learn too, you know, especially when you make a film, you know. I found that out a lot more, you know.
So,
Because
so then let's go into production time. So you said what? It was like
production
3-4 months pre-production. What was production like? Like how long was that?
that was, filming wise, it was 6 to 8 days. We
Oh,
filmed
okay.
everything in 6 to 8 days. And then he edited it for maybe a month or two, maybe 3 months, because he had all the equipment, and we were waiting for that. I kind of feel that the editing could have been done a little bit differently, but it was done, you know. I wanted a little input on that. I didn't really get a good input with the editing wise. I just saw everything like as it goes, you know. But now that I'm learning more editing now through friends and people, you know, I'm a part of the editing, you know.
Okay, so was production at all any of a
It's
problem?
part
Was there?
of, then again, let me see. At some points it was.
Okay.
We had problems with people leaving, but they weren't important people, you know. They were just zombies, you know. But other than that, I think it went smoothly to where it is. I had a hand with Andy and his crew, you know. He had his own crew with him, you know, and he pretty much helped me flow me around, you know, with it, you know, with my first film. And he did listen to me to a point. I didn't think he listened to. I didn't think he listened to me as much as he should have, you know. But that's just me, you know. Wayne kind of was a big part of it with Saison. You know, both him and Saison both were, you know. Saison was a big part of it to the point where he was telling everybody, you know, we do it this way, you know, and we follow, we do it together, you know. I think it's part of, you know, doing it all together and getting the schedule done, you know. At least you're
Right.
trying to.
So I would like to focus a little bit on production because there was definitely some questions I have for you.
Okay.
There is so there's a couple messages in this which I don't know if they were intentional or not, but there is one zombie tells one of the cast members who's kind of assaulting a girl, and the zombie, when he's about to kill him, says no means no. There's a couple other things in this too. Yes. Where there's like these kind of little messages, and were these things, you know, environmental or ecological, or just kind of you know, more of a, I mean, granted this is 2008, so it really wouldn't be like kind of like woke culture, but were those type of things on there, you know, really on purpose?
I think it was, in a way. I think there were some things that had some influence on that, on the word, on the way it was perceived, you know, like the zombie, and also the other things that you had said, you know, with the environmental thing, you know, and all that, you know. I think a lot of it also has to do with us trying to make it more parody of the zombie film too, you know. I think we wanted it a little bit different than other zombie films, you know.
Sure.
And yeah, and it was kind of like when I first wrote it, everybody was saying, "Oh, this reminds you too much like Romero," you know. You know.
Well, those scenes definitely, they have a little bit more of a Return of the Living Dead vibe to them, you know, like when the girl goes, "Where's the cemetery?" and the zombie goes, "Oh, it's right down the road." You know, there's definitely a little more humor that, or the no means no than your standard zombie film. So I kind of got flashes of like Romero or Return of the Living Dead, that type of thing.
Yeah, and I loved Romero. I think Romero was like a great filmmaker, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, too. So he was like one of my heroes, you know. I was very sad that he died when he died.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I passed away. Yeah. I think he was an influence, but also the 50 Ed Wood films were influenced too, you know. Originally, the Warlock was supposed to be played by Conrad Brooks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he wanted most of the budget.
I've talked to Conrad Brooks a few times, so I understand.
Yeah, you so you know exactly what I'm talking about there. You know, God rest his soul. I hope he's happy in heaven. You know, but we had to recast the Warlock, and we got a German guy to play the Warlock.
Well, that works.
Yeah, so we got a German guy to play the Warlock, and he did an awesome job. And he was right here in Roseville too. You know, he lived right here around town. At least a good couple of years ago. You know, I don't know if he's still into him again. You know, I had a couple people from that I have known that wanted to be just zombies. You know, so we kind of all like got together on that. You know. So it was a very interesting set of people. You talked about having problems. I had a big problem with one day where all the casting companies came at once. They all wanted to be zombies. So you had to pull people away and say, you know, it's already casted, you know.
I bet better to have too many than too few, you know.
Yeah. But we already had like a good 20 to 30. So I was like, or around there, you know. So, or at least 20, you know, a good amount just for that small space that we were working in too, you know. Sorry. Gotta get over here.
So the zombies though, so talking about them, they're not the traditional zombies there, because like you said, you want to do something new. They almost kind of seem like, and I don't know if this was maybe a budgetary thing or it was just a decision, but some move fast, some move slow, some obviously talk and do comedy, but they kind of appear out of the graves. Like they don't rip out of the graves, they appear like ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. And allergies.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of wanted to, in a way. It's just how the editor kind of put it that way too. You know, I think I originally wanted them all out of the graves though, and it just worked out to where it worked a little bit better. You know, where it's the spiritual or paranormal aspect of the movie. You know.
So technically, their bodies would
do that and would appear out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're
spirits, but not really spirits.
So their bodies are technically still there, are still in the grave, but it's they're like the spirit zombies are the ones that are walking around in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, basically.
So, okay. Now, what about lighting? I noticed that the like when the girls are walking, you know, they're trying to get to the cemetery. It looks nice. It's standard lighting. It's, you know, outside and stuff. But then when the zombies hit, all of a sudden we're getting kind of different camera angles. There's different lights on the zombies, different colors. Why was that decision made?
Well, Andy wanted, I wanted it as an old, like Boris Karloff color film, you know, always deal with the lighting and the electricity, you know.
Yeah, you're kind of freezing up a lot. Yeah. So you'd mentioned Black Sabbath generators. Yeah. Kind of going in and out and freezing.
I got the I got the color through watching Baba films, Black Sabbath.
Oh, okay.
You know, the red and the blues. Yeah. And we had a generator too, where the generator was running the electricity for the lights and everything else that was going on there too. So that was in the side or the back. But we had at least 3 or 4 lights, and we most of it was mine, and most of it was Andy's creativity output. Should I put it, you know, to the director? You know, can you hear me pretty good?
I can hear you. You're a little jittery picture wise, but voice I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But Baba was another filmmaker I really loved. Same with Gordon Lewis and the other 60s filmmakers, you know. So the look of the lights were weird Talon movies, you know. at least for the graveyard scenes and the cabin scenes, you know, in the dark, you know. And you know, I kind of looked at it being kind of in a way a homage to all those films too, you know. Not like same with Romero and the black and white 50s, you know.
Sure.
And also the Italians too. So the lighting also was done through output through me and the director photographer. You know, he says maybe this will look good, you know, for this one shot, you know. At this point I didn't really rely on storyboards as much, but so everything was kind of like I said before, on wing, you know, with a lot of things, you know. Now I have a shot list and I know what I'm going to shoot, you know, in films, you know, that we do, you know. So that's where it differs now, you know.
Sure.
So,
and what was it like working with all of those kids? Because there were quite a lot of kids on set.
The kids, we had to get the kids out of there. So they were good to work with. I enjoyed working with them. The parents got a little upset because they're out late, you know, but you know, we got to film their scenes filming, you know. We got it all done, you know, and so they go home, you know. But we pretty much conquered that. Should have worked on, you know, with the adults, but children were nice kids. They were really good kids, you know. I mean, the whole entire little in the windows, you know, at the end there, you know, with them going on rocks and, you know, in the forest there, you know. And I kind of look at it as being to really know how to direct a person too, because kids are the toughest to direct if you look at it.
Oh, I can imagine.
They really are. Uh, huh? Yeah. Uh, do their scenes, get them out of the way, so they won't stay too long. That's my advice on it. You know,
Right.
because they got
Get them in, get them out.
their priorities too. Huh?
Get them in, get them out.
Say what?
Get them in, get them out. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
So now you
So,
got all of your filming and stuff done. What about post-production time? How long did that take, and what was that like?
About 3 to 4 months, I believe. The editing, the sound mixing, he did it all. The direct photography, and he did it in maybe 2 to 3 months, all in his own time, And I didn't see it until it was actually done, because he wouldn't tell me when he was editing.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
I was like, yeah. So I had to see it with what I was doing, and the only person that really has seen it was probably Wayne. But other than that, I liked what he did, and I appreciate what he did, at least Andy, and although if I could, I would change some things, like all directors, you want to change things, and that's what I kind of want to do still. So, yeah, it's kind of like one of those weird perfectionist things in a way,
Sure.
Director,
Oh yeah.
But I enjoyed what yeah. So
I was gonna say, like, yeah, the editor wants to use take 3, you want to use take 8, that type of thing. So, but that's at least it's the same. It's the same dialogue and stuff. It's just you prefer one take over the other, even though it's the same thing.
Exactly. I kind of wished he this is where I'm coming down to the point where this is where I don't think he communicated with me too much, as he should have, but I appreciate what he did. And I think also I've learned a little bit more now with editing. I kind of know what to do. I have a great editor now, and the editor right now is he goes over it with you.
That's what they should do. Yeah, editors should be speaking to you on a constant basis. They shouldn't just, I understand putting together a like a rough cut or an assembly cut and saying, okay, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think? And then you're like, yes, that's the correct direction to go. Or, hey, can you maybe change this shot out for this shot in this scene? But not to have any communication. Right. And I've had that problem, I'm going to say twice now. It does become very frustrating. So, yeah.
Right. I feel a connection. It's funny how I met him, John, because I had met him 10 years before in front of Borders Books.
Just kind of hanging out.
Just kind of hanging out. And he said he was going to film school. 10 years later, at that point when I met him, I was doing Warlock Moon. And I finished it. And then 10 years later, he comes up to me, and now he's editing my new stuff. His name is Trey Hamilton. He's a good filmmaker himself. And he's also a great editor, great filmmaker. He did everything from shorts to feature films to pilots, and and he basically became one of my other brothers too, just by and a good working relationship too, by us reconnecting, and it's funny to see how people kind of go back into your lives and help you out,
Right. Yeah.
that's how to, it's like you, I, I, you have become a really great friend, in a lot of ways.
Oh, well, thank you. You're a good friend too.
And yeah, and I honor our friendship. You're a brother to me, man. Because you make films, but you also know the business too, like myself and like Trey, And it's always going to be a learning process. You want to work with your friends.
Right.
You want to work with people that you are close to. Yeah. That's how you're only going to get things done, and that's all I can really think of right now, to where post-production or the editing side of it goes, I did not get that with the other the Warlock, the first Warlock Moon editor that we had. I thought he did things, kind of in the dark there, but that's sometimes how people are, no problem to him, at all. I admire him. I think he's a great filmmaker himself, but it's like Trey Hamilton. It's a connection, and that's really good. And he's working on a lot of stuff with me, and I work on his projects as well too.
That's good.
I think I've worked on at least 3 of his projects. Yeah. So, that's how it works,
Sure. Okay, so one final question on post-production would be, and I think this stands out, is the music in the film. Is that original music, or is that music that you maybe found through like YouTube or something?
That was music that was pretty much uncopyrighted music, like
the public domain stuff.
We have public domain, yes.
Yeah, copyright free and
public domain, and we were like looking at, yeah.
No, it's a good choice. It's a good choice in music,
and we used that to the point where we could get the film done. I was going to get a composer. In fact, the composers that are doing my new film is from Las Vegas, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So they're a band here in Vegas, and they're in Vegas with where you are. But at that point, that music was public domain, and we just used it to get a film out of the way,
Right. No, that makes sense. I've done that myself. So
yeah. But so if I had a choice,
Oh no, go on.
So if I had a choice, I would have had original music,
Oh, sure.
But and for now on, I'm going to try to get original music in every single project I do. So, in some way or another.
Yeah, there's some of the stuff with like if you grab like copyright free music that's on YouTube. I've had this issue on 1 or 2 shorts I've done where I have used it. The music clearly says copyright free, and like if you put it on YouTube, YouTube will get you for that. They're like, this person says you use their music without their permission, and it's like, no, I got it from somebody else, and it's a totally different title, and they said copyright free. Yeah. So it's one of those things where using that type of music can be beneficial, but at the same time, if it's going on to something like YouTube, it could be an issue, because YouTube just uses those bots that find this stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, original music is always better. Yeah. So
that's usually the system of YouTube too. I think too. They kind of go through the mechanical system, there and all that other stuff. So
it's ridiculous. They kicked me. This is a warning to people. They kicked me off. My entire YouTube channel went down all because of
I
one
remember
film
that. Yeah.
that's unlisted. And they said there was nudity in it. I just watched a movie last night that was on YouTube that had, you know, violence, nudity, swearing. It's on there and it was perfectly fine. And mine's unlisted and you're going to kick it off. So they do that for music. They do that for nudity. It's ridiculous. So, you know, filmmakers, be cautious. Just try to do all original stuff.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah. So
it is ridiculous. But, you know, I didn't have that problem with Warlock at all.
That's good.
It's also Wayne. It was on Wayne's channel, and he kind of put it on there after having it on for a while. We had distributed it maybe a couple years before, so it has a little distribution. But then again,
well, that's okay. So that's the next question. So my question is, you know, before finding distribution on YouTube, what did you do with the film? But you had told me earlier it had already been released, like on DVD. So what was that? What was this whole distribution thing?
Well, we found a distribution. Well, Wayne found it. Wayne found it in LA, and I don't really remember the name. It was some weird name. But they're no longer a distribution company now, for some reason, you know. So I'm trying to find another one, but we had it on for at least a good 5 to 6 years, you know, on DVD, you know.
Do you own a copy of it?
We had released it on videotape. Huh?
Do you own a copy of it?
I have a copy of it
on DVD or VHS?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, so at least you got that. That's good.
Yeah. So Wayne pretty much put pictures of the film and a weird look to it. So there was like 2 different cover cases to it. You know, I heard about it to the point where he would always say it's being distributed through a company in LA, you know, and he would say the name, but I am trying to find one right now where after I revamp it. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay. You froze on me.
Oh, did I? Oh, it looked okay on me.
After I revamp it. Yeah. After I revamp it to the point where I'm going to make it 2 different versions. A black, because I wanted to make it more look like an old film, you know, even though digital, it was filmed on digital, you know, but it was for the fact that I grew up with the drive-in films, you know, to the point where I would always go to the drive-ins when I was a kid, you know, and it's kind of like, well, the next film that I am doing is kind of a homage to the drive-ins, but this one was more about the B movies of the 50s and 60s, you know. Warlock was, and we kind of we kind of got a good look at it now, you know, to where it's it looks more like an actual film, you know, to where me and Saison both and Wayne both wanted it to be, you know. Wayne kind of they're no longer in California, they're in Texas now, but I still talk to them a lot, you know. Saison's still the co-owner, you know. But they communicate back and forth, and they kind of finding out what's going on with the new projects, you know, as well too, you know.
Well, that was going to be my next question
cool,
is,
you know, how things work, you know, how.
Right. Well, and that would have been my next question is what is happening with the film now? So currently there's one version that you could see on YouTube, which I'll put a link to. and then there's, you said, two more versions of the film. Any idea when that's coming out?
We're still working on it right now. We just started working on the black and white version, and we're going to be doing the color version very soon. I've added a little bit more to it. We have a new credit sequence probably to it too. And I'm also making it look like an old grindhouse film too, in a way too, you know, in a weird 50s grindhouse film way, you know.
Okay. Those are always fun. Well, as long as I can hear your voice. I mean, you're still frozen. You're just frozen.
Okay. Well, anyways, where were we at now? We're talking about the 60s.
Grindhouse, that you like Grindhouse, and then you mentioned Blood Feast. Okay, that's better.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing kind of an early 60s color version, kind of like the look of Blood Feast in a way, you know. And I think Blood Feast would be kind of like a weird, was a weird film to begin with, you know. But I like the colors in that movie, and I wanted it to make it look more like that, you know. Also, maybe a new intro as well too. So I might do a new intro to it as a director. So, and to introduce the two versions of it as well, and distribute it out to a production company or like a distribution company, you know, that will do that, you know. And that's pretty much what I'm planning on doing, you know, with that, you know.
Right.
And I really enjoyed the fact that you can do more things now in editing than you did 20 years ago, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, totally.
With the different film. Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with the different programs that came out too, you know, like and getting the things done where it was harder for us to go out and do that with the stuff that we had back in early 2000s or late 90s, you know. And it just shows that, you know, filmmaking has advanced in a lot of different ways. You know, we don't use 35 millimeter prints anymore. We don't use any type of film anymore, really, you know, except for digital and MP3s and, you know, cards, you know.
Oh, yeah. So now with all these, you know, you got the film out there for people to see. You're reworking it into like two other versions. What is since the film has been like that one release on DVD and now on YouTube, what has happened to your career since then? Has this film elevated it in any way?
I still get people that remember it, and they kind of say, yeah, you were in that one movie. I am working on a feature film right now. It's called Master of the Green Crystal. Me and Saison both are. We are still working on that. I've done everything from acting to working on other people's projects, you know. And I also have a lot of scripts that I'm writing too. I have a lot more other projects that need to be told. I even have a ghost anthology on the road here, Dyer Lane, and that's going to be that's being written as we talk about. You know, Dyer Lane is a paranormal road here in town. A lot of mystery go to that, you know. So I have a lot of things that you know, that has to do with my career, and you know, I've learned a lot more when I first started Warlock Moon too, you know. And I've also met a lot more other people too, you know, that are in the business too, you know, that know what they're doing, you know. Yeah. So yeah, my career's doing good. I get a lot of people that know me from not just Warlock Moon, but other things too, you know, and it's funny, you know. I worked in LA like maybe once or twice, you know, in other films, but that's another story in itself, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think Warlock Moon has kind of opened up the fact that you can do anything you want to do, you know, and not ever pull you back, you know. And that's part of creating too, you know, in your career.
Well, that kind of segues into then, do you like to work independently or do you like to work with others? I mean, how do you as a filmmaker kind of like to do that stuff?
I love to work with others. I think working with others, you learn more, first and foremost. I kind of look at it as somebody's going to know something better than you in film in some way or another, and you can't learn it, and you can't do a project all by yourself. You know, you have to have people to do it for you and with you. You know, and as much as you do it yourself, you know. If you don't have those people, if you don't work with those people, you're never going to learn how to get something done, you know. Part of it also, you know, I say this all the time, you know, like I'm glad I ran into people that actually love working with me and love being around me, you know, because that's how you're going to get everything done that you want to get done. I take my time with my projects too. I don't like rush them, you know. And a lot of the people that I work with don't rush their projects also, unless it can be to the point where it's just a quick thing, you know, like Warlock Moon. That's quick, you know. I was just talking to him today, and he was saying this will be done in a week, man. You know, in
nice.
some way or another. But yeah, but it's to the point where you have to work with people. That's just the way everything works, you know. You know, I've seen people not work with people and they don't get things as much as they want to get done, you know, you know. And that always makes me sad too, because we all have to work with each other, and you know, it's part of also being a good filmmaker too, you know, even though
sure
to have a good working relationship with people, you know. I'm just happy I'm working with the people I'm working with, you know, and they love working on films too, you know. And I love working around the other people too, you know, and going to be working with other people too, you know, like you or Drew or somebody else, you know. Yeah, that's part of what we all are. But we're all family in this, dude. It's not one man for himself. Yeah, and that's just how it is, you know.
You're right. Yeah. And so with that being said, that kind of will take me to another question of, since you like working with other people and stuff, how do you stay organized and prioritize how do you stay organized and prioritize tasks? There we go. My mouth is dry. So how do you work with that, knowing that you're going to be working with a group of people?
Well, I pretty much have, with me, I keep writing, too, on my scripts, and getting a schedule done with other people, Trey kind of helped me out with a lot of things too. He helped me with organizing what I wanted in each in the shots, because he goes, "This is what you need to do," as an editor, uh, I schedule everything. I write things down, I write things what needs to be done. I write things that will have to be done, and that's how I pre-organize things, and also writing scripts is a big issue too with me too. I'm trying to get as much work as I can out, or at least script wise out, um, I still have to finish a lot of scripts, but I'm working on the one script for a while, and I'm still working on that, but pre-organizing, keeping myself organized, you have to really just know your priorities too, and know where you're going to go, and how you're going to execute them too, and that's part of what it's all about, and it's okay to take breaks sometimes.
Right.
In between those organizations,
You got to let the brain
if
rest.
You take breaks, you got to let the brain rest. Exactly. And that's part of what organizing things is about too. It's time, and you need time to really think things out, and get things on paper or in the works, in some way or another. I love doing what I do in this business. I think making movies is a big thing that kind of keeps me going in a way,
That's good.
Same with organizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned from the mistakes I made, but I also learned from the creativity people that's around me too, and organizing it is just getting your priorities straight, I think, in a lot of ways. I mean, somebody told me a long time ago, no one reason in this business why you're here. And I'll tell you who that is a little bit later if you want to know who it is. But he was on a set and he said, "What's your one reason in this business? Why do you want to make movies? Or why do you want to do what you want to do?" And it was to the point where he was telling you, again, going back to what I was saying, know your priorities, know where you are, and know how you're going to do it. And that's the kind of reminder. He's gone now, but he was a very well-known guy, and everybody loved him, and he pretty much got me through some struggles too
in
my
good.
life. Yeah. But he taught me a big lesson that day, and he will always be in my heart, man. That's the kind of
that's good.
people that you run into.
Yeah. Well, you need those people. So
and that's what. Yeah. So yeah. It's kind of, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so we should get on to the other questions. So, because that's a good place to leave that question right there. Sure. So let's so describe, and you kind of did this a little bit earlier, but describe something good that happened on set and then describe something bad that happened on set. And it could be, or vice versa. It could be something bad that ended up being good, or maybe something good that ended up being bad, or separately. It's up to you on how you want to answer that.
Well, I guess basically making it a parody was good. You know, I think creating as we went was good. And making it funny, you know, having a good time, you know, on set, you know, not so much like it being to the point where we stick to one script. We did everything on an ad lib, you know, too, you know, on our first film, you know, and that's the good part of it. The bad part, I didn't like the fact that when actors leave you for a reason or another, you know, when you needed to do a scene, you know, that was the bad part, you know. I think, people didn't really understand the fact that, you know, you have to get a scene done, and they're off saying, I have to go back because of this, you know, or that, you know. And that was our major problem on that shoot. It was a friend of mine that did that. And I don't really talk to him as much as I did back then, you know. That's a little bit where it's different, you know, because we just have lost contact with each other. But then it goes back, you know, that's one bad thing that happened. I wish we had it. Sometimes I wish actors would be more into their work, you know, than they should be, you know. I think sometimes some actors aren't, you know, some people just want to live their lives and they don't understand the business as much as they should, you know what I mean? And that was the only bad thing. Everything else was good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Because I mean, it's, I guess it depends on the circumstances with certain actors. I mean, some do take it seriously, but maybe they're just not getting out of it what they want. Some don't take it seriously because it's a hobby that they do on the weekends. And, you know, so I guess it's something that, you know, I've gotten into arguments with other filmmakers and actors where, you know, I don't want to be working at a storage facility for the rest of my life. I want to be working in Hollywood. You know, I want to be making big budget movies. And they're content with living at their mom's house and working at Target and making films on the weekend. So I guess it just depends on where your priorities are at. So, you know, and that's unfortunate. When actors do leave you, but, you know, hopefully they could be recasted and the film will be better.
Yeah. And that's the only bad rap I have of any set, really, you know, when actors do that to you, you know.
Right.
I gotta tell you this another time. I'll tell you the story of what happened on the new film. It's a very interesting story.
Every film has its interesting stories, that's for sure. So now the good thing is that here's another good thing. We're coming up on the last couple questions. So one, I think that this would be interesting for you because of when you originally shot Warlock Moon, which was on the mini DV, to today, you're making the two different versions, which are obviously being done on, you know, some sort of, you know, probably like a digital editing software like Premiere Pro or something like that.
We're doing a Final Cut Pro. We're doing a Final Cut Pro.
Okay. So what's the major differences? Like, what are your, you know, are you getting used to this type of stuff? Are you, you know, is this like, oh, wow, I can now do so much more with it?
Well, then again, it goes back to Trey. Trey knows more about editing than I do, you know, and I'm getting to the point now where I've learned a lot more by doing with the new equipment, you know. And the difference is that when you had a rougher time back in those days, you know, when you were trying to make it look like old film, you know, when now you just do like a touch of a keyboard, and just do it then, one touch. That's all you need.
Right.
Yeah. But I think it's advanced since the 2000s and the late 90s, to where we're making films a lot more easier. I think if you look at the fact that many years ago, the only way you edit a film is splicing it together, to where now you just stick a MP3 in and do whatever you want, is amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's absolutely amazing. When I first got back into this, with Aximus, I had no idea how to use the camera. I had no idea how to use sound. I had no idea how to edit, because I knew how to use a 16mm camera or the sound equipment, that would go along with the camera. I would edit on a flatbed. That's what I knew. And I thought I was a hot shot for knowing that. And then once I realized I knew nothing, and I had to throw all of that out the window. It's just like, crap, I got to start from scratch. But once you learn it and get into it, you can take something older that's like, let's say, Warlock Moon, and do whatever you want with it. It's completely open to you. So even if it's an older film, you could still work with it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I give every program like 5 to 6 years till they get advanced it more, or a little bit more, and it's a matter of, just them advancing into it, and getting better equipment each time,
Right.
We have a special effects guy that knows how to do his special effects too on his program, and it's I'm seeing things that, that he says was hard, that was amazing to me back in the 80s when I saw it in Star Trek. Now he's doing it on his own computer,
Yeah.
Which just, like I said, one finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers,
Yeah, a little, you can still just, got that. Yeah. So, okay. So that's good. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say it's good to hear that, that Warlock Moon, that cut can be seen on YouTube, and knowing that 2 more versions that are going to be done on new technology will be coming out. So you can kind of see the difference in how these things are made.
Yeah, totally. And I totally, I'm looking forward to that. My Trey is all excited now that he's doing it, which is good.
That's cool. You got to have fun with it. Because a lot of people don't like editing. They don't like editing at all. And that's it. But I love editing. Yeah. So, it's nice that you have somebody who enjoys it too.
Yeah. Well, I love editing too. I just need to learn a little bit more of it,
Yeah. And, well, the only way you're doing that is actually doing it, just sitting down.
Yeah.
A lot of tutorials on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's
I was learning, on other programs, but this one I've learned more with Trey, the guy just saying, to you, this is how you do it. This is how you send emails to people, or things like that, with Warlock, we worked, he goes, give me 3 to 4 examples of what you want. And film look, like with the black and white in color, and explain to me why you want them, So he taught me pretty much director to editor, the linguistics, should I say.
Right.
How you talk to editors. Yeah. So yeah.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, So today, before I even talked to you, we were doing it in black and white and tweaking it, making it look more like film, But like I said before, it's a matter of it's always evolving. The programs are always evolving.
Oh, they are. They're
even,
definitely,
even
yeah.
when we're not, yeah. So I'm learning. I am learning each day. You know, and that's what all filmmakers should do. They should learn each day and and uh and get better at it. You know, for what they have. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So then for the last two questions, so currently, Warlock Moon can be seen on, like I said, it's on YouTube. Is it on any other streaming service?
YouTube.
Just YouTube?
Not right now. I would like to. I'm going to look into that. So I'm trying to look on Amazon and seeing what it is. Maybe Tubi.
Tubi would be good. They promote a lot of that stuff.
Tubi's good.
Yeah, I got my stuff on Tubi. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I just got a Roku TV. My brother had given it to me for a Christmas. So I'm learning all that
good
stuff
gift
right now on the Roku. Yeah, the good gift. He gave me my mom a Roku TV for. He says, "I guess it's your Christmas present, birthday present." So, so I'm learning a lot more stuff, and I'm streaming a lot more stuff too. You know, like I'm thinking I'm also even doing a Roku channel with different people's films. You know, and putting them on there. You know, and my own, and maybe put Warlock Moon on there too. You know. So we'll see whether that goes, you know. I guess one of my friends has done that already. Like, well, actually two of my friends, but they one of them even runs the film festival in San Francisco, you know, and he has his own little Kiss channel. They're doing that too. And I guess that's alternative since the theaters have been closed too, you know.
Oh yeah.
People have kind of gone streaming. The big
yeah,
studios,
and like I've said, I'll put a link to the film down below. So is there, for the last question, is there anything that you would like to plug? It could be from the past, it could be present, it could be from the future. What would you like to plug?
Yeah, me and Saison are working on a feature film. We are working on Master of the Green Crystal, and Trey Hamilton is editing it with me. And I wait right now. We're doing the clips as we speak. That's over like 3,000 something clips and one feature film. I have that. I also have a short film that I am starting with Trey and the special effects guy Cam and Troy, you know, and that's going to be like a minute and a half type of film, you know. We're doing that as well, and it's going to be fun. It's like friends working together, you know, like it should be, you know.
Right.
I'm also I also have scripts that I'm working on. I'm working on the sequel to or companion piece to Warlock Moon.
Cool.
And that's halfway. I would say I'm mid through that, but it's always I'm going to probably have to touch it up a bit too. It's different characters, different kind of atmosphere, but then again, it's kind of like the love for B movies, you know, and what we used to watch as kids, you know.
Right.
And so that's what I have to plug. Master of the Green Crystal, Crazy Trek as well. The short film that will probably be playing with Master of the Green Crystal. That's needs to be re-edited and sound mixed. But other than that, that's what I have, you know, as new projects, you know, coming up, you know, and it's fun, you know. It's fun to like learn, you know, that you need to name all the clips, and there's so much stuff that you could have done, as you watch the footage, that you could have done as you were filming it, but you're gonna have to fix it in post, or and editing.
Oh yeah, that's famous. We'll fix it in post. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just starting that with Green Crystal, but he wants to start editing it. Trey wants to start editing it, just because. Yeah, I think we started editing the first 15 minutes of it, so that's pretty much done. I just have to. My biggest thing will probably be sound mixing. That's my major thing. It's probably going to be sound mixing, and that's what my biggest thing is. I keep tabs with Saison whenever I can. Saison is kind of in his own world right now, with COVID and everything, So I'm going to probably see them after everything opens up again and it's safe to really do it, but I might take a trip to Texas and just see them and do my audio commentaries, with them there, and maybe do a round table kind of thing with them, with Warlock. But I'm in a good place. I'm with making movies. I think it's a matter of being in a good place. Most of my relatives always say, "Oh," they're like always say, "We'll go see what you are doing in the future." We'll be there. And it's a matter of knowing who's going to be with you at the long run too, with your friends and your family, and getting your things done too, or trying to get your things done, as best you can.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It takes time. It does. It's been taking me a while, I'm still working on a film that I've been working on, because of money, because I didn't have the money, and that's always going to be a tough thing, you don't have money to finish something, I would have finished it if we had the same budget as I had with Warlock, though, I think. Wow, but that's someday. I hope Wayne can come up with something like that again too.
No, you can always
Hopefully
crowdfund.
he will.
Crowdfunding is now where.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's totally true. I need to try that. That's totally. I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I guess it just depends. So.
Yeah, totally. That's funny. I think you had some crowdfunding things too, didn't you? Yeah.
I've had 3 so far. Yeah, two were successful. One wasn't. So it all depends.
Okay, so it's all a matter of who contributes to, and how you do it,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm still learning on that, and I've done 3 of them. So it's every crowdfunding, thing is different. So it's all a learning experience. So
yeah.
But okay, well then let's wrap this up. Then
Okay.
If anything else you would like to mention or anything, otherwise we'll say our goodbyes.
Also, I'll follow your dreams and never stop making movies. Keep
There you
making
go.
movies that you want to make.
That's good advice.
That's good advice. Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many people try to stop people make their films. And sometimes people listen. Sometimes people don't. The only way you're going to survive is if you don't listen to those kind of people.
Right.
And just keep doing them. Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that you don't tell your idea to 20 people, because you're going to get, you know, a lot of mixed things. I would really only mention it to maybe one person or two, maybe none, because you could be discouraged with an idea that you really like. So yeah, just keep moving forward if it's a project you like. So.
Right. Yeah, totally. It's just a matter of knowing to keep things quiet too, and to yourself sometimes, you know, and also getting your things done, you know.
Right.
And,
yeah, you got to do that.
You know. Yeah, and I'm still trying. I'm working on something that I started a couple years back. You know, I'm still working on it. You know, I never thought I would run. I never thought I would go back to Warlock Moon. You know, that I always thought it was going to stay the way it was, but now I can go back to it and make it a little bit better than it did. You know,
right?
And not worry about what people think. You know, or say. You know.
Yeah, and in the end, it what they think doesn't really matter. So it's what you think. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
You
And
know,
that's all that matters. What you want, what you do, you know, and how you do it.
right.
And that's part of also. Yeah, I've had a lot of family in the business, and a lot of the family say the same thing too. You know, and then one time, I think one of my cousins was Hal Wallace's wife. So the
Okay.
old movie producer. Yeah, she was Martha Hire. She was an actress. And I had Robert Q. Lewis as well. He was in Fair to Remember with Cary Grant. So it's just a matter of they all said the same thing, you know, that keep doing what you're doing and never stop.
Well, there you go.
And getting things done.
Yeah. Well, there. I think that's a good place to end it. So that's good advice. So, all right, everybody. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm John Ward, and this has been One Filmmaker, One Film. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Christian. And
no problem. Thank you for having me, dude.
Of course. Well, thank you. And we'll see you on the next one. Okay. Bye.
Definitely. Yeah. Bye.